presenting bills elsewhere. So I think I see Assemblywoman, behind that chair. Olson, will you come up and start? You want to go to the microphone over there? I think that's the protocol. I don't know.
Yes, there is. Thank you, Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you. Okay,
Certainly.
and you're doing AB 1099?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam Vice Chair and members. Yesterday, the chair and I had a discussion on amendments, and in light of that discussion and the agreements we made, I wanted to let the committee know I will be accepting the committee amendment mentioned in number 4 on page 4 that removes the provision requiring school districts to disclose their school site funding priorities. We also agreed that I will be keeping the teacher and principal evaluation transparency piece as written. So we will not be accepting number 5 on page 5 based on an agreement I had with the chair yesterday. Members, we're at a critical point in reshaping the future of education in California. As we all know, California used to be ranked one of the top premier institutions for educational excellence across the nation and across the globe. But for the last decade, we have consistently ranked among the lowest achieving in education, and that's just unacceptable. And I know we all want to see those levels rise. The good news is after this year's state budget, we are now going back up into the top quartile for the way that we fund our schools. We are now finally moving into a place where we really prioritize education funding, and that is one of the drivers necessary in order to drive educational excellence. But funding alone is not enough. We now have to work together to fix our schools and to pass important, robust, substantive education reforms to make sure that every child, regardless of their neighborhood, regardless of their background, has access to a top quality school. This bill is a very small step in the right direction. It is to at least provide information to parents about how and how often their teachers and principals are being evaluated. AB 1099 would require school districts to post online the evaluation method of its teachers and of its principals if they're using one. We can make our education system more effective by providing more information about how schools are measuring quality, because all research demonstrates that the most important in-school factor for student success is teacher quality. And so again, as we continue to work as Republicans and Democrats on more robust education reforms, we believe AB 1099 is a good step in the right direction to at least require more transparency of how schools are measuring teacher and principal effectiveness. With me, I have Tracy Weinstein from Students First to testify in support of the bill.
Great. Those in support.
Good morning. Tracy Weinstein here on behalf of Students First, urging for an aye vote today on 1099. As Assemblymember Olson mentioned, 1099 really builds on the principles of transparency underlying the local control funding formula by requiring greater transparency on the process by which teachers and principals will be evaluated. And we think that that's really critical for engaging parents more thoroughly in their school's process and providing them with the information that they need to understand how teachers are being evaluated, developed, and supported in their classrooms. We also think that this is a small step in the right direction for addressing the chronic noncompliance with teacher evaluation systems of our local districts with state law. And so by requiring this transparency, we'll now have more information about what districts are doing to ensure that teachers and principals are being evaluated fairly and supported well. And so we urge your aye vote today, and thank you again.
Great, thank you. Others in support? Or just staff? Those in opposition?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. I'm Ron Rapp from the California Federation of Teachers. CFT opposes this bill because the data required to be reported related to teacher evaluations distorts the purpose and intent of educator evaluations. Effective teacher evaluation systems are designed to identify educators' strengths and weaknesses and assist them in improving their practice throughout their careers. In addition, CFT believes that requiring districts to describe all the procedures to be used for the evaluation of certificated teachers contained in the current collective bargaining agreement, how evaluations include the progress of pupils towards locally adopted standards of expected pupil achievement at each grade level in each area of study, and if applicable, the state-adopted academic content standards as measured by state-adopted criterion reference assessments is totally unnecessary. And for these reasons, we urge a no vote. Thank you.
Thank you. You want to take over? Okay. Any questions from the senators here?
I'd like a clarification. Assemblymember Olson.
Yes.
A clarification on the amendments. So item 4 on page 4,
Yes.
regarding the LCAPs and school site expenditures, are we taking the suggested amendments?
Yes.
Okay. And item 5, charter schools, we're deleting the suggested amendment,
Correct.
correct? Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Would you like to close? I think we're getting close to a quorum somewhere.
Yes. Sure. I will be brief. I'll say I respectfully request your aye vote. I'm a big champion and supporter of public education. I have 5 siblings and siblings-in-laws that are teachers within our public education system. Believe the way we can help drive educational excellence is by providing the professional development and training that teachers need, and then at the same time evaluating their performance and providing them with meaningful feedback on how they can improve to make sure that we're having student success in California. With that, respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a
Should we
motion?
call the roll for?
Let's call the roll for attendance or establish a quorum.
Blue,
Here.
Blue here, Runner,
Here.
Runner here, Block, Hancock, Leyva, Leyva here, Mendoza, Monning. Here. Monning here, Pan. Here. Pan here, Vidak. Here. Vidak here. 6.
Okay, we have 6, we have quorum, okay?
Okay. We have a quorum and,
Is there a motion on the bill?
okay. Senator
bill has been
Vidak has
moved.
moved the bill.
Yeah.
And all in favor?
No, we'll call the roll.
Oh, we'll call the roll, sorry.
Do pass as amended to appropriations. Blue,
Aye.
Blue I, Runner.
Aye.
Runner I, Block, Hancock, Leyva, Leyva I, Mendoza, Monning.
Aye, as amended.
Monning I, Pan. Vidak.
Aye.
Vidak I. That's 5.
You have 5 votes sufficient for passage. We'll leave the roll open for our absent members.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Assemblymember True? You have item 6, AB 404.
Item number 6.
Good morning, Madam Chair and Senators. Appreciate your consideration of AB 404, which will empower our community colleges, faculty, students, and other stakeholders to evaluate the performance of the regional accrediting agency for the California community colleges. Specifically, this bill would require the Board of Governors of the California community colleges to conduct a survey of the colleges, including all relevant stakeholders, to solicit feedback that is anonymous and can be aggregated into a report and delivered to the federal body that reviews accrediting agencies, the National Advisory Committee on Institutional Quality and Integrity.
Yeah.
Historically, a strong voice for the community college system has been lacking due to a lack of notification to community colleges and other stakeholders regarding the ability to provide comment and scarce local resources to respond. The accrediting process, as we all know, deeply impacts our community colleges and should be as transparent and integrated with stakeholder feedback. Given that our CCC system has lacked a method for soliciting feedback from the community college system, faculty, and other stakeholders, that is why we have this bill. And it's our hope that AB 404 would provide a pathway for more meaningful feedback to our system, from our system to the federal agencies that the accrediting agencies will be holding accountable. With that, we have a number of witnesses, and I'd like to turn it over to them.
Sure, in support of the bill.
Chairwoman Liu and members of the committee, my name is Rich Hansen, and I'm here today as treasurer of the Faculty Association for California Community Colleges. I'm urging your support for AB 404. I also teach math at De Anza College. First of all, I want you to know that accreditation review is a vital process that is meant to ensure that our colleges are academically excellent, students are being served to improve success outcomes, and that institutions are financially sound. AB 404 is not about local accreditation activities. It's about good governance. The California Community College system is the largest system of higher education in the United States, and it is critical that they are evaluated at the federal level. According to a recent report by the California State Auditor, in a 5-year cycle sample of 4 colleges, they spent nearly $530,000 in fees to the ACCJC, and that's the Accrediting Commission for the Community Colleges, over a 5-year cycle. With 112 colleges in the state, we can easily approximate that about $3 million per year, not including the money spent by the district to reassign faculty and staff work on local accreditation teams, is spent on accreditation. No other ongoing appropriations spent with state dollars would go without a review of its performance. For these reasons, FAC asks you for your support of this measure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Others in support?
Senator, 2 members, David Bala Hawkins with the California Community College Independents. This bill is very much in line with last year's state audit of the existing accreditation agency, where it recommended that the Chancellor's Office be more engaged in this process. We believe this is a minimum level of accountability and transparency, and ask for your aye vote.
Okay, in support.
Good morning, Jennifer Baker with the California Teachers Association. I'd like to echo the comments that have already been stated. Ensuring there's going to be transparency and accountability are absolutely essential, and we're hoping that this will move the accreditation process in a more positive direction.
Thank you. Any others in support? Is there opposition to the bill? Please come forward, and can we create some space here at the table?
Madam Chairman, my name is Gary Kosin, and I'm from Novato, California. As a recipient of the community college education in this country, I'm going to tell you, all you, that I'm going to put you on the hot seat today and hold you responsible for your actions, because I'm not going to do it anymore. If you look at AB 404, I'm sorry, I'm nervous. So. Section 1. Subparagraph B4. A. To provide representation, advocacy, and accountability for the California community colleges before state and national legislative and executive bodies. Madam Chairman, committee members, I was in the Army, and because I went to a community college, I was thrown out. And that was the reason they gave for kicking me out. So I'm going to ask some questions, and I'd like somebody to answer them for me. How many of the Board of Governors of the California community colleges have been fired from their jobs for not having an education like I was, because they are not doing their jobs?
Sir, this bill deals with accreditation of the accreditation agency, so please be brief and to the point.
I will. I'll be brief. But I want some answers. For 35 years, I've been trying to get answers, and nobody's answered me. My own senators and congressmen won't answer me. My assemblymen, my state senators won't answer me. So I want some answers on the accreditation of community colleges. according to Barack Obama, we're only getting a high school education. And he said that in his last State of the Union address.
So is the question directed toward the accreditation agency?
Anybody who can answer my questions.
Well, why don't we, if this is this is an opportunity to oppose the bill 404.
I am, and I'm going to oppose the,
And if you have other issues, we can set aside some time to.
when? Nobody talks to me to set up time.
If you will see the sergeants, we'll be able to help you.
Because Carol Mignon said she'd help me, and it never happened. I submitted a petition to make these schools accredited. Now, Mr. Chu, can you tell me what happened to that bill?
Sorry, sir, I'm not sure I know what bill you're talking about, but I'm happy to speak to you after this hearing. And this is a bill that will ensure that during the accreditation process, there is more transparency and more accountability to the public, including yourself.
Okay, tell me something. Is it going to be accredited with the American Council of Education? Or is it going to be under some other organization?
Accreditation agencies are, this particular one is accredited by the federal government, by the State
Ma'am,
Department.
according to Barack Obama, it's the high school education accreditation. Now, I want somebody to tell me when it's going to be accredited with the American Council of Education, which deals with the post-secondary education policies.
Well, that is not an accrediting body.
It's not?
No, it's a policy-setting body.
Well, I'm sorry, but the Department of Education got me fired because it wasn't on their accredited list. So I want some answers. And if I can't get them, I'll enforce Article 1, Section 6 of the United States Constitution. Now, does anybody know what Article 1, Section 6 says?
Sir, we appreciate your being here. Assemblymember Chu has offered you an opportunity to talk to you about accreditation. I think you should take it.
Okay, I'll take it.
Thank you.
But I want some answers.
All right.
I'm tired of waiting.
Is there anybody else opposed to the bill? Seeing none. Questions from members? Seeing none. The bill has been moved. You have a question?
I have a question.
All right, Senator Runner.
Isn't this something the Chancellor's office could do if it's a high priority now? Do we need an extra step here with this bill to make it happen?
Well, at this point, it hasn't yet happened, and as was referenced earlier, there was an auditor's report last year that suggested that we did need more transparency, and because of that, we wanted to establish this process. And I do think given what a report that aggregates this information would be able to provide, it's a minimal way to, again, allow all the stakeholders in the state to provide some input and accountability to the federal government on this, and we have been in touch with the Chancellor's office, and they have provided us feedback on this bill.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the bill has been moved by, was it Senator Leyva? Did you move the bill? Yes, I did. Okay, Senator Leyva moved the bill. Okay, let's call the roll.
Do pass to appropriations. Liu.
Aye.
Liu, aye. Runner.
Aye.
Runner, aye. Block. Hancock. Leyva. Leyva, aye. Mendoza. Monning. Aye. Monning, aye. Pan. Aye. Pan, aye. Vidak. Aye. Vidak, aye. That's 6.
You have 6 votes, sufficient for passage. We'll keep the roll open for our absent members.
Thank you, Senator.
I think you are doing also Dr. Weber's bill, item 5, AB 329.
That's correct. Unfortunately, Dr. Weber couldn't be here today, so she's asked me to present AB 329 on her behalf. AB 329 would update, strengthen, and integrate the existing statutes related to HIV prevention and comprehensive sexual health education, thereby providing clearer guidance to school districts and better support both to teachers and students. We all know that comprehensive sexual health and HIV prevention education has been shown to be effective in both delaying sexual activity and increasing birth control use by youth who are already sexually active. We also know that LGBT-inclusive education has been shown to have a positive impact on school climates overall and have helped to make LGBT youth feel safer in schools. Research has also shown that health education improves student academic outcomes, including in reading and in math. This is a bill that would modernize and broaden the current HIV education mandate to reflect today's understanding of HIV and to increase our educational instruction's impact on reducing HIV, sexually transmitted infections, and unintended pregnancies. This bill also requires instruction and materials that are inclusive of students of all sexual orientations and genders. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to some of our witnesses today.
Thank you very much. In support of the bill, please.
You guys can Hello, my name is Siddhartha Turuk, and I just finished my junior year at Oakland Tech in the Oakland Unified School District. I've been organizing my fellow peers in the district to fight for sex education justice as an Oakland youth and as alumni of For Together's youth program. Schools are a critical place for students to get information to be safe, comfortable, and prepared for when they become sexually active. I'm here today to express support for AB 329, California Healthy Youth Act. I had sex education starting in 4th grade and every single year until freshman year. I assumed that everyone else had the same amount of sex ed that I did, but when I went to high school, I found out that wasn't the case. I realized that most of the people I knew didn't have the same amount of sex ed as I did, and the quality of sex ed was also different. It wasn't just about STIs and birth control. We were allowed to ask any questions we wanted and in an environment where we felt comfortable asking them. Sex education is not just about looking at pictures of STIs, putting condoms on bananas, and awkwardly talking about our bodies. Sex education is important so that people have correct information they need to make healthy decisions for themselves. Last year, a friend of mine who is sexually active told me that he wasn't using protection and that he was healthy and safe. He did not seem confident in stating this, and because of my work with For Together, I was able to get him condoms and he was able to have safer sex. Sex education is about young people getting the information they need to make empowered decisions about their bodies, gender, sexuality, and relationships. Also, sex education should not just be about accepting people, or it should be about accepting people as they are and seeing everyone as equal. This is especially important for LGBTQ students. Sex education justice is about providing students with sexual health information that is accessible and relevant to their everyday lives. Please stand with California youth like myself and vote in favor of AB 329.
Thank you very much. In support of the bill.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Jeff Gould, and I work for a nonprofit organization called Cardia Services, and I provide technical assistance and training and capacity building to school districts and county offices of education in the implementation of comprehensive sexuality education. I'm very excited about AB 329 and its ability to clarify the original intentions and the key content of the existing statute, providing for a greater, more comprehensive context in which to provide HIV prevention education, and in creating a greater alignment with existing health education standards. In supporting over 20 school districts in the Bay Area and in Southern California, as well as partnering with the CDE on its current federal funding from the CDC, I find that the existing law can be confusing for a number of LEAs. This is because even though most districts teaching HIV prevention typically include elements of broader sexual health education, they often don't cover all the required topics because they mistakenly view them as optional under the existing law. By unifying HIV prevention and broader sexual health topics, AB 329 will provide much-needed clarity for school districts as to what they should be teaching. It'll also increase the effectiveness of the already mandated instruction by creating greater knowledge and skills in preventing HIV. This more comprehensive approach has a greater impact on a range of issues, many of which are related to rates of HIV, such as multiple partners, relationship and dating violence, sexual assault, harassment, and bullying. I'm not aware of one evidence-based curricula that is only HIV specific. The school districts that I am working with and the vast majority of others in the state already use their state mandated funds for HIV education and beyond to purchase curriculum and provide teacher training that addresses broader sexual health topics. They understand that their students need the information more than what is required under the narrow HIV mandate. But unfortunately, often their implementation can result in students not getting the full range of critical information. I help the districts that I am working with, but that is only a few in the state. There are many others that also need better guidance and support that will be provided by AB 329. AB 329 reflects the true intentions of the current statute while strengthening it and updating it and having it better reflect best practices. I urge an aye vote on this.
Thank you. Others in support?
Catherine Williams with the ACLU of California. We're co-sponsors and want to thank Assemblymember Chu for stepping in for Dr. Weber today.
Thank you.
Joe Michael for Equality California. We are also proud to co-sponsor this bill, and we respectfully urge the committee's support today. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, any others in support of the bill? Is that microphone working over there?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Please.
Good morning. Good morning, Madam Chair and members. Dennis Garcia with the Hernandez Strategy Group on behalf of the California Latinas for Reproductive Justice, proud co-sponsors of the bill. Ask you for your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jasmine Gordon with the California Black Health Network in support.
Thanks.
Gregory Kramer, Planned Parenthood Affiliates of California. We're a co-sponsor of the bill, and we believe that comprehensive, medically accurate education is very important, and we support this bill.
Erica Hoffman on behalf of the California School Boards Association, also in support.
Lydia Bourne representing American Academy of Pediatrics in support.
Debbie Look on behalf of State Superintendent of Public Instruction Tom Torlakson in support.
Isabel Garcia on behalf of the California Teachers Association in support.
Rebecca Gonzalez, National Association of Social Workers, California chapter in support.
Manigo Deval, also a proud co-sponsor of this bill in support. Forward Together.
Georgina Amaral, fourth-year medical student, resident in San Francisco, in support.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members. Leangela Reed on behalf of the San Francisco Unified School District in support.
Madam Chair, members, Rand Martin on behalf of the AIDS Healthcare Foundation in very strong support. Thank you.
Ernesto Sosa with the Latino Coalition for a Healthy California in support.
Thank you. Okay, any others in support of the bill? Is there opposition to the bill? Please come forward. Seeing none, are there questions from members? The bill has been moved. Okay, it's a good bill. We like the bill here. Let's call the roll.
Due pass to appropriations. Liu.
Aye.
Liu, aye. Renner. Block. Hancock. Leyva. Aye. Leyva, aye. Mendoza. Monning.
Aye.
Monning, aye. Pan.
Aye.
Pan, aye. Vidak.
No.
Vidak, no. It's 4-1.
4-1. We'll leave the roll open for absent members.
Thank you, Senators.
Thank you. Okay, next bill is Assemblymember Gonzalez, item 14. PB 949.
Good morning, Madam Chair and Senators. This bill is simple. Cheerleaders are athletes, and cheerleading should be recognized as an official sport in California. Since competition cheer is considered an activity in school, it doesn't fall under any of our state's agencies or jurisdictions. The lack of formal governance standards and regulations has resulted in inconsistent safety and training of coaches. Moving competition cheer to a sport would require a standard set of rules and regulations like any other sport. The current lack of appropriate safeguards results in too many injuries. Cheerleading accounts for approximately 60% of all catastrophic injuries in girls' high school athletics, the most dangerous according to the National Center for Catastrophic Sports Injury Research at the University of North Carolina. And then there's an access issue. Currently, if a young boy or girl wants to participate in competition cheer, they have to go through one of many private clubs or high school team that has to pay to enter private competition. By having competition cheer as a CIF-sanctioned sport, we will allow any student who wishes to compete the ability to do so without having to pay to be part of a private event. With me to testify in favor of the bill is Kimberly Archie, founder of the National Cheer Safety Foundation.
Great. In support of the bill, please. Press the red dot. Thank you.
Thank you for having me today. My name is Kimberly Archie. I'm the founder of the National Cheer Safety Foundation. I'm also a former California high school cheerleader myself, and we're in support of the bill, particularly from a safety perspective. As stated, it is the most dangerous sport for female athletes, more than double all other sports combined. ER numbers are up 67% over the last 5 years, so the trend continues in injuries. We have a young lady by the name of Patty Fomani Vong, who is a former high school student at John Marshall High School, was injured in the fall of 2007, had only been a cheerleader for 7 weeks, and was allowed to do one of the more elite stunts and is now quadriplegic mute for the rest of her life. Had she had proper training like this bill would provide by putting it under a sport coaching standard of care, she would not have been injured the way that she was. So as the founder of the National Cheer Safety Foundation, we support this bill and hope that you will give it an aye vote.
Thank you. Others in support of the bill?
Madam Chair, members, Pat Moran with Aaron Reed and Associates representing the California Athletic Trainers Association in support of the bill. It's long overdue and request your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Nancy Lacoste, and I'm representing the California Interscholastic Federation, and we are also in support of the bill. Thank you.
Erica Hoffman on behalf of the California School Boards Association, also in support of the measure. We need to ensure that these girls who are girls and boys, excuse me, who are performing these types of stunts do have the direction and the assistance they need. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Any others in support of the bill?
Stuart Thompson on behalf of the California Medical Association in strong support.
Thank you. Any opposition to the bill? We did get a letter, but are there questions from members? I think, you know, the bill has been moved. Just a comment. I think this is really interesting and probably long overdue, but we've had, quote, unidentified sports come before this committee. Earlier this year, it was rodeo. Now cheerleading. Who identifies these as, quote, sports? CDE or the federal government? Who does this?
There's a local process. Cheerleading's in a unique situation because when Title IX was written in 1972, they specifically said that they didn't want cheerleading to be used as a satisfaction of a female sport. Now, obviously, cheerleading, anyone who has paid attention, has changed substantially since 1972 and has really grown to be an athletic competition. And so because of that kind of unique positioning of cheerleading, it's been a fight at the local level to get cheerleading identified as a sport for decades, since I was a cheerleader, and I watched my daughter go through the same thing. And yet, the reason I thought of doing it this way is we saw some other states go in this direction. And so I had the chance to coach not only in California, but Virginia, where cheerleading is a sport. And the safety guidelines and what you have to be qualified to do as a coach is extremely different. And it provides protection for those young women and men who are in it. So we tried to push at the local level and been involved in that for decades, really. And there's a long storied history. I'd love to sit down and talk to you about the uniform company that owns cheerleading in the private sector, who has funded actually the Title IX lawsuits against cheerleading being a sport. It's incredible. And so we just want to ensure that, that things change. And so this was the only avenue we could do it, is by sitting down with CIF and saying, we're going to need you to develop this in a way that hopefully eventually we can go to the Office of Civil Rights and say this is consistent with your guidelines of sports. And at some point, we have to recognize these young men and women are athletes. It's a dangerous sport, and they need the protections that other athletes have.
Okay, all right. Any other questions or comments from members? The bill has been moved. Let's call the roll.
Due pass to appropriations. Blue.
Aye.
Blue, aye. Runner. Block. Hancock. Leyva. Aye. Leyva, aye. Mendoza. Monning.
Aye.
Monning, aye. Pan.
Aye.
Pan, aye. Vidak.
Aye.
Vidak, aye.
Okay, you have 5 votes sufficient for passage. We will